Welcome, my name is Alga Ramos, and in this video we're going to go through everything that I packed for my 1-week mission trip in Honduras. So you're going to see my carry-on bag, very girthy but helpful. You still see the dirt on it, so you see that it's real life. This is after coming back from the trip. And then this was my little personal backpack, and we're going to go through everything that I have in these two packages. Perfect. We're going to start with the carry-on bag. As you can see, it was a large backpack. I'm just going to start unhooking all of these things, which I definitely needed to do so I could try to condense it as much as possible. So for starters, I packed a lot of clothes, which we're going to go through. Here you see I'm a pharmacist by trade, but I always like to bring my stethoscope, Sphigmomanometer, in case I can help out taking blood pressure. So we'll kind of go through there. My handy pink stethoscope, which I really love. I had some like smaller personal towels, just in case like I got too hot or I wanted to wash my face or something. A lot of socks, definitely wearing a lot of sneakers while on the trip. And I just had like an extra small dress in case, you know, we had a little bit of downtime during the trip to go somewhere. Here you're going to see that I really had a lot of like, you know, loose clothes, right? Or just light clothing to really help throughout the trip. So for example, this was my pajamas, like just shorts, a nice light shirt so I wouldn't get too hot because we didn't stay at too many places that had AC. It was just fan. I had this jacket in case it rained and also like for sun protection, which was good. Thankfully, we were a bit indoors for a lot of the offsite clinics that we did, but it was still helpful to have it. I had this tiny pack where I'll show you what I had there. I like to pack in a lot of mini packets. I had off, so just really to repel some mosquitoes or other insects. It was really helpful, especially to put around my legs. I still had some bug bites, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. A little razor in case I needed that. Super important, lots of sunscreen. Had a lot of time out in the sun. Extra band-aids in case of emergency, and a little hand sanitizer. Always helpful. Okay, we'll go through. These were some of the clothes that I had already used. You're going to see like a lot of scrubs, right? So I literally had most of the time like long scrubs. Some of the other team members had like shorts or khakis, which are fine. I usually tend to get concerned about getting bitten by bugs, so I try to wear longer pants on the trip. A lot of polos, which I like the material on these because I can roll them up and they don't necessarily look ruffled or crimped. So you see that, kind of easy to go, a little polo, nice breathable material and no wrinkles, which is great. I had a lot of t-shirts. Again, something light that wouldn't get me too hot while on the trip. I had some, again, shorts, like in case we had time to like walk on the beach or do a morning exercise, which honestly I didn't really do, but it's still good to have and good for at night so I wouldn't get too hot. I also had a lot of like yoga pants, just easy things to wear. Although these I would use more like pajamas, really for work. And it's just me, you know, a lot of people were a little bit more comfortable, but just for me, I like the scrubs look. So you see here, another pair of scrubs. I probably brought like 3 scrub pants, my pink ones. And then just a lot of t-shirts or those polos where it really was like very low maintenance. So it was easy for me to just change really quick. Had a scrub shirt that I did wear one of the days, along with these long yoga pants, which to me, it was good. It got a little bit toasty for me because these are a little bit thicker, but it was good to protect against some mosquitoes. So that's really in a nutshell. Again, lots of yoga pants, t-shirts, and then had a couple of, you know, nicer looking shirt in case we had like a day to go out or explore the town. So I did take advantage of that. Jeans, which I don't have here because usually when I go to the airport, jeans are kind of like my outfit. So I wore that on the way back. And again, just other lighter shirts that maybe were a little bit nicer for, and still tropical for going out. That certainly Honduras was very hot. We went in the middle of August, so super toasty. And that's everything, or the majority of what I had in my carry-on bag. Of course, there was also underwear, more socks, and just a little bit of the basics. So now we'll transition over to everything I had in my smaller backpack. Very quickly before we transition, I also packed a swimsuit. Always good if you're going to a tropical area, and again, if you have the opportunity to go to the beach, is nice. Something that I would mention is when you're going on a mission trip, try to ask if there will be laundry services. You can see that I honestly tend to overpack, but it's still pretty petite. Like actually this bag was just like 26 pounds all in all with everything that I'm showing you. But we were actually blessed that where we had our clinic, they were able to help us get our clothes washed. And in the transition hotel where we went to on the last night, they also had laundry services. So I was able to get a lot of these things cleaned, which helps so I don't come back tired having to do a ton of laundry. But definitely make sure to ask that so you keep that in mind when you're packing so you can travel light. And here we're going to go on what I had in my smaller backpack. To me, when I travel, I like to do a lot of carry-ons, but certainly having a smaller backpack with a lot of the essentials that I need is imperative to ensure that, you know, I'm going to be covered in case they tell me, oh, it's a small plane, you need to check your carry-on bag, or if anything at all happens, at least I have some essentials here with me at all times. So let's see here, I have a little pocket where I had another towel again in case I got sweaty or I needed to clean something, some snacks. These I actually bought in Honduras, it's just nuts. But always good to have some travel snacks, a pen. You always need a pen with you, especially as you're traveling across country borders. You may need to write in like a transfer sheet. So it's always good to have a pen handy so you don't need to ruffle all of your things when you come in. On the side, more hand sanitizer, always helpful. Also had a charger for some of my external batteries, which we're going to go into. Here on the other side, I already took it out, but I had some headphones for my phone for while we're on the plane or maybe while we're in transit. That would be helpful. I also had my charger for my phone available, and we also needed our computer, so I did bring like a laptop charger as well. And here we have, you see that it's pretty jam-packed. I tried to pack light and try to squeeze everything in. But here, very important for my hair. As you can tell, it's curly, so need a hairbrush. Had a little, which may need new batteries, but I had a flashlight in case anything were to happen. You never know when you're going on a trip. Sunglasses, very important. Again, we were out in the sun for most of the day, so very important to have your sunscreen, have your sunglasses. I had regular glasses in case anything happened with my contact lens, so I would be covered. I have here a bag that I travel with for just some essentials like deodorant, very important. You sweat a lot. Moisturizer for my face, more sunscreen, so I have no excuses. Face wash. I also have toothbrush, toothpaste, different ones depending on my mood. And my little pack for my contact lenses with contact lens solution, which is also really good to pack if you have, if you're doing contact lens, always good to have an extra one. This one is actually pretty tiny, 2 fluid ounces. I do try to minimize everything to 3 fluid ounces or less, so they don't throw out anything in the airport, because I like to have these accessible as a carry-on. I had, not really necessary, but just so I wouldn't look asleep most of the time, a little makeup bag with more sunscreen. You can tell I'm really passionate about wearing sunscreen. And here we're getting into the nitty-gritty. I had my fanny pack. This is actually super helpful and efficient. Like as we were in clinics, I would keep some essentials on here, and I'll make a different video about what I carry in my fanny pack. But as I was wearing my scrubs or getting ready to do the clinic, dispense the medications as the pharmacist, I would just have my handy fanny pack available. And see, and I can either have it to the front or push it to the side if I need to do something else. I brought this pack, which is intended for like vitamins or any medication whenever you're going away, be it for a mission trip or any other type of activity. You should bring your vitamins, whatever medications that you're using. So this one here, honestly, I just had like a green powder that I take in the mornings, and you know, you just twist it, would have it. You still see remnants of my green powder. But it was good, right? Certainly make sure you also have, again, this was a medical mission trip. I knew there were going to be a lot of medications available, but it's always good to bring your own prescription or non-prescription medication, having a little first aid kit. I showed you guys I had like the Band-Aids if, you know, you're prone to allergies, motion sickness, like bringing your Dramamine, you know, all of those little things. It's great to have with you, have it accessible in a smaller pack. I had a scrunchie for my hair. I had not one, but two external batteries. I'm notorious for running out of energy, so I brought both of these, and then I also had the charger. So whenever we did have electricity at home base, I would make sure to charge these so I wouldn't go empty. I have a little clinical pharmacy pocket guide. It's 2018, but it still helps. Honestly, I didn't use it as much, but it's kind of good to just have like a little pocket guide. Nowadays, like there's so many apps that you can have on your phone, but here, if I don't know, I wanted to look over, you know, by now, honestly, in my day-to-day, I understand like renal function and how to calculate Cockcroft galt. We really didn't need to do that over there, but you know, having common lab values, we were blessed to have someone that was running lab tests. So our physicians were monitoring that, and I would also see it kind of like in our patients' charts. So I was able to take that into account as I'm dispensing, like, wait, is this still appropriate? Do we need to do renal dose adjustment? For the most part, everything was okay, but still good to remember those key inputs. I have here a notebook just to take notes. There's some people that like to journal. I think that's a very good habit. For me, it's just like writing down ideas. If I notice anything that I want to do better for like a future trip. Let me see what else. I actually had a handbook just with the information on what our formulary was, and I can go into more detail like in a future video, but it was really good just to have, you know, what meds the providers are holding, etc. So just a quick cheat sheet there. And oh, of course, very important, even post-COVID, face mask. I had my N95s available as well. And that is really a little bit of everything that I packed for. And this was for a 1-week mission trip to Honduras in the middle of August. So again, thinking that it was like tropical time, wanted to make sure that we weren't, you know, I myself wasn't going to be exposed to the elements with the mosquitoes. So definitely brought that off. I think that all in all, I packed pretty well. There were only maybe 5 things that I felt I should have packed that I did not. So I will show you a little bit of that just so you keep it in mind as you're preparing for your medical mission trip. So number 1, a hat. Thankfully for some portions of the trip, we had a roof above our heads, but sometimes we're traveling, it gets very hot, the sun is on us most of the day, we're doing remote clinics, so really having a hat to kind of help cover my face a little bit, keep my skull a little bit cool would have been amazing. So don't forget to bring a hat. Another thing that is critical as you're going on a medical mission trip or traveling from town to town is really staying hydrated. As I mentioned before, we went in the middle of August, very, very hot, needed to drink a lot of water. I was thankful that we did have the opportunity to buy large format water bottles, so they would really hold us off for most of the day, but I really do wish that I would have brought my insulated cup just because I didn't want to buy that much plastic. You're not always able to recycle it, so having just, you know, a large format cup like this one that you can just easily refill each time would have been helpful. Another thing pertaining to the heat, would have been having a small battery-powered fan. It did get very, very hot, and I did have to borrow other people's fans, so it would have been helpful just having like a small format battery-powered fan. Another thing that is helpful for a medical mission trip or any type of travel is really bringing cash with you. And a lot of Latin American countries, cash is king. So even bringing dollars and having them switched over, in Honduras, the currency is lempiras. So having them switched over, or already doing the exchange back home and bringing lempiras with you would have been helpful, just because there's always unexpected expenses that come up here and there. Something else that I wish I would have brought, I mentioned I did put on off, but regardless, I still got a couple of bug bites on me. So as I mentioned, it's always good to bring your own medications, your first aid kit, but something I missed was bringing hydrocortisone cream or diphenhydramine cream, which, you know, brand name Benadryl, would have been helpful just for some of those bug bites that I did end up getting. And just a quick one more bonus 6 item that I wish I would have brought was, as I was leaving out the door to go to the airport for the trip, I forgot to leave my ring at home. So I just wish I would have brought like a silicone ring or anything else. I honestly always feel very safe when I'm going on these medical mission trips to Honduras. I do them with Carolina Honduras Health Foundation. They've been doing it for a couple of years, so I always feel safe, but just it's always good to be mindful of your surroundings. So that's just the one thing I wish I would have done. For most of the trip, I just kept my ring in my backpack, and that was it. And that is everything that I packed and everything that I wish I would have packed. I hope that this has been helpful and that this inspires you to go on your very own medical mission trip. Feel free to add any comments if this video was helpful, if you have other questions pertaining to medical mission trips. Really, I'm here for you. So thank you so much again, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.